What's up, Zenon Freaks? Today's video is something a lot of you have asked for. If you're interested in a deck that's easy to use, very effective, and most importantly cheap to build, then stay tuned and I'll have that coming right up for you. Okay, Zenon Freaks, welcome back. Today I wanted to showcase a deck utilizing a new card from Forbidden that's also easy to build and pretty effective. Now, this deck costs around 13,500 spirit, which is relatively inexpensive. There's only one legend in the deck as well, so if you've already pulled the legend that you need, then the deck is only 10,000 spirit, which can be reduced even more with a few minor changes to the deck. So before I get into this deck, if you're new, go ahead and hit that subscribe button for me. Plus the bell icon so you don't miss any more of the awesome videos I have coming. If you don't believe me, go ahead and check out the playlist on my channel. I cooked up a lot of awesome guides and gameplays for you. Now, the deck is using an old strategy. It's a Twin Horn Treewalker ramp deck, and you increase your mana quickly to summon the Twin Horn Treewalker, the Impaler, who is very hard to remove, and he can deal massive damage as well. So once you have him out, you're going to use Tentacle Tangle to rest your opponent's minions, ensuring his attack goes unblocked. You also have Binding Ivy as backup in case they play a swoop minion. Also, with good timing, Binding Ivy can rest their Phoenix Force, so they can't use any flash magic or play a swoop minion at all. Now, you might be thinking, why only one copy of the main card? You know, that's not a consistent way to build decks, and you want multiple copies of your finisher to ensure that you draw them, right? Well, that's definitely true, and if you want to take this deck up a notch, I will actually add another copy of Twin Horn in case he gets discarded from your deck or hand. But only one copy will work fine in this deck, and here's why. Let's take a look at JAK. It's a new card from Forbidden. He's one of the new evoker minions that adds magic to your hand. And we want to take advantage of his third spell, which is called Harvest. This lets you search your deck for any green or neutral yield minion with the cost of 7 or higher and add it to your hand. So as long as you found one copy of JAK, you're guaranteed to get your Twin Horn in your hand every game. Let's not neglect his other spells either. They actually really benefit the strategy of this deck. His first spell, Growth, actually improves the consistency of your deck by searching out a green base minion and adding it to your hand. This ensures that you get your 2 green mana for your ramp spells, and also thins your deck out at a pretty reasonable cost of just 1 green mana. Guardian of Demete and Amora are actually some pretty important cards in this deck, and I definitely want to see them every game. The second spell is Mist, and this not only creates Harvest in your hand, it reduces the amount of damage you take by 1, which helps you survive until you reach your 10 mana. Now, you only need 1 copy of Harvest, so after using the first, you definitely want to save the Mist for later in the game once the pressure starts being applied by your opponent. So those are the main cards of the deck. Let's talk about the other packages included in the deck. This deck uses the Curon and Minotaur Forces. The Curon Force lets us take advantage of Green's incredible mana ramp spells, letting us resolve a Gift, which lets you draw 2, restore life, and increases your green mana by 1, and Crest of Guidance, which searches your deck for 2 village girls and place them in your base and rest. You can play these cards as early as turn 2 with the Curon Force. Sakura Treewalker is also another way to ramp too, and this card is very powerful, so I'm glad we get to take advantage of this ability in this deck. This card ensures you see JAK, which will secure your Twin Horn Treewalker, and you can also grab Amora or the Guardian with this to set up for later. The deck also takes advantage of the Minotaur Force, which means you can't be rushed down as easily as other decks. The opponent will have to remove the force before being able to deal any meaningful damage, and of course when it gets destroyed it'll increase your mana, which lets you get closer to your Twin Horn Treewalker. This also lets you save your damage reduction spells like Arrow Wall and Mist until after your Minotaur Force is destroyed. So we've got a little damage reduction package going on here too, just to ensure that we survive to be able to play our Twin Horn Treewalker. This deck also includes a very small tree folk theme. Amora, the Conjurer of Wisdom, adds Jigsaw into your hand, which will level up whenever you play a tree folk. Now, the level 2 ability of Jigsaw reduces the damage to your life, which will increase your resilience even more. I like to have a Jigsaw out when I summon my Twin Horn Treewalker to ensure it levels up and helps me survive on the upcoming turn. Another thing to note is that Jigsaw at level 3 gives all of your minions with a cost 5 or higher Pierce. So this is another win condition. If you can't find your Tentacle Tangle and you have a level 3 or more, this will give your Twin Horn Treewalker Pierce, and he'll more than likely still defeat your opponent even if he's blocked. Now, when utilizing this Pierce effect, if your opponent's using Flash Magic, you want to really be careful, because if they can destroy your Yixel when your Twin Horn Treewalker is attacking, then he'll lose Pierce, and you pretty much just wasted your turn. So just be mindful of what your opponent's playing if you decide to go for the Pierce effect. Morpheo Raccoon and Traveler of the Waste take up our 1-cost field minion slot. These ensure that we get our ramp spells off early, and you want to keep at least one of them in your opening hand. Another important card is Laurel Treewalker. Now, not only is this a Tree Folk, which can help level up Yixel, this card really allows you to boost your mana if you use it properly. I try to keep one of these in my opening hand as well, especially if I have Crest of Guidance or a Gift in my hand, as this will allow us to use those on turn 2 very well. The Axe Wielding Minotaur and the Wisdom Light of Insight are in here to ensure that the deck flows smoothly. There are a lot of opportunities to get the draw off of the Minotaur since we run enough Evokers to do so. And Wisdom lets you look at the top 2 cards of your deck to choose one and add to your hand. Since this deck has a combo finish, you want to include a lot of cards that let you draw more cards to ensure that you find the pieces you need on time. And Wisdom fills that niche very well at being a really easy to play 3-cost, and he also lets you look at the top 2 cards. So you go through your deck even quicker. Now this should cover all the cards in the deck, but I want to take a look at Guardian of the Mete and explain why this card is so important to the strategy, and why I try to search it out with JAK and Sakura. Now I know a lot of players are used to using the Phoenix Force, and they don't really care about cards like this, but we aren't using Phoenix Force, and we still want to be able to use magic on our opponent's turn. So if you have 2 of these Guardians in your base, even when you summon your Twin Horn Treewalker and you're all tapped out, at the end of your turn, they'll switch to active mode. So having 2 of these out will ensure you can still play your Arrow Wall to help you survive, even if your Kiron Force is destroyed. Now before I end the deck profile, I want to go over some options that you could add to the deck as well. There's Lashley, the Ivy Wizard, who's an epic that comes from Forbidden, and this is also a new evoker that adds magic to your hand. Now this isn't as important as JAK, but the effects of the magic are still pretty decent. Her first spell allows you to restore life, and her second and third spell is control your opponent's board to make it easier to manage so you can get to your 10 mana. Minor Aid is also really good against decks that like to go wide with a lot of minions. For 1 mana you can just restore up to 3 life points, which will help you survive into the late game. Gargoyle is also a decent minion. He has really good stats when you have an Invoker in your base. And this will just allow you to tank hits as time goes on. This would probably replace the Minotaur if you don't have it. Pandoria is also really good. She can search your deck for any base minion when you play her. So if you have a copy of this card and you want to include it in your deck, this will also ensure that you get JAK to your hand as well. Baby Cactus is a nice card because it can search out Arrow Wall. And this will ensure your survival as well if you're looking for something to replace a card like Wisdom. The best choice probably is Platorn of the Wise. Since this is a combo deck, this card facilitates combos really well. You can discard any number of cards from your hand, so any cards that are dead, any extra Tentacle Tangles or anything like that, you just discard them and then you draw the same number of cards. So this will really allow you to speed through your deck to find all the pieces that you need to. But I'm not sure how good of an option Sun Leo is, but it is a card that stood out to me. It's a little easier to use than the Minotaur. All you have to do is have an Evoker in your base and you draw a card and you summon them. But if you have 3 or more out, then he becomes 500 BP, similar to the Gargoyle. So, and you'll probably rarely have 6 or more, but he does gain charge and resurge. If for some reason you need to apply some pressure to your opponent, you have the option there as well. I would definitely give this a shot if you wanted to include more Evokers in your deck to go along with the Tree Folk theme more. Target Practice is decent removal. If you decide to go with more of a Tree Folk route, this card could remove some of your opponent's troublesome minions from play. Griffin of Lofty Treasure also searches for your Evoker base minions as well. Now, this one is kind of disappointing because it only reduces the cost of the Arcana minions. It won't reduce the cost of your Arcana spells, but that's okay because you are using the Kiron Force. This will just allow you to play your Tree Folk for 1 cheaper if necessary. I do not recommend crafting Von Gene, but if you have this card and for some reason you're having trouble with Belphegor, which will prevent you from summoning your Twin Horn Treewalker, then you can use this card because this will allow you to get up to 11 or 12 mana, and you'll be able to play your Twin Horn Treewalker that way. I do not recommend Wise Dramar either, but he does have an interesting effect that lets you discard a base minion to draw 2 cards. So I definitely think Gift is better, but this could be worth looking at. Ethereal Giant is another card worth looking at. If you have this card, this really assists with your Twin Horn being able to end the game. When you drop him, no other minions with 1000 BP or lower can attack, block, or move. So he can pretty much handle all of the crazy red minions coming at you. Even if all your forces are destroyed, they still won't be able to attack as long as you have Ethereal Giant out. And like I said, he also combos with the Twin Horn Treewalker because Twin Horn will have 15,000 power. So he doesn't care about Ethereal Giant, and he will prevent your opponent from being able to block when you come to attack with the Twin Horn. So you can also search this out with JAK's magic, making your harvest get a little more value. So I definitely think Ethereal Giant is worth looking at. Some other forces that you could try out are the Sphinx Force if you decide to adopt more of a Tree Folk theme. That way it'll protect your Yggdrasil while they're out. There's also the Phoenix Force, which you can try as well if you wanted to use cards like Forest Shield to handle some of your opponent's minions on their turn. And there are also cards like Rita the Divine Shot. If you want to use a card like this in the deck, then you'll want to use the Phoenix Force, and you can ramp to 8 really quickly, and you'll be able to play it no problem. So that's it for the deck profile. The deck is relatively cheap to build, but it's still really good at what it does. I broke all of my excess cards after opening Forbidden packs and from packs I had last season, and I had enough to craft the cards that I was missing. So if you've already pulled some of these cards, like the Treewalker or the Twin Horn, then you can easily just fill out the rest of the cards in the deck with just a little bit of spirit. Well, I'm going to go ahead and hop into a ranked game with this. This is what the deck can do, so stay tuned. Alright, so while we're waiting to find an opponent, go ahead and hit that subscribe button for me, please. And go ahead and hit that bell icon notification too, so you don't miss any more videos. I'm going to have a lot of content regarding Forbidden coming out, so definitely don't want to miss that. Alright, looks like we're at Kanatana. We could be playing against the yellow deck. Alright. Now, a lot of people underestimate yellow, but that new Angela card is actually insane. If you have that card, you might want to hold on to it because it's super good. Especially with that new card, I think it's called Celeste, the one to fan. Just insane. It just does so much. Okay, so I have the Treewalker and I have the Crescent Guy, and I have a 1-cost minion, so I'm going to shoot these back into the deck. Cool. We got JAK and Travel of the way, so now we're definitely guaranteed to be able to play our Crescent Guidance on turn 2. Alright, looks like we're going against the blue deck. I think this deck has a very good matchup against blue. Especially because of the Minotaur Force, they're not really able to get off their combos with Julie as quickly as they would like. So I'm going to play Traveler of the Waste here. This will ensure that we have our 2 green mana next turn. I know I have the Morpheo, but this will get the base minion out of the deck for me to make sure to decrease my chance of drawing it. Okay, so that's all they have for their turn. That's good. Alright, we draw our Tentacle Tangle. That's part of our combo. We need that. I'm going to go ahead and drop that. Now check this combo out here. Laurel Treewalker. If I didn't play a minion on the first turn and I play a Laurel Treewalker, it would be hard for me to get the spells off. But when you move into your base, he switches one of your green mana to active. Now I can play Growth. To grab my green base minion. I'll be grabbing a Mora here. And I can also play Crescent Guidance. So with that, that was a really powerful first turn. I would prefer to play Gift, but this gets my mana up even higher, which will get me even closer to my Twin Horn Treewalker. So now I have more mana than my opponent and I went second. That's really good. Yeah, I would go ahead and use Mist now. The effect is kind of pointless, but it does give me Harvest, which is the main part I want. So now with Harvest, we can search out our one copy of the Twin Horn Treewalker, and that's all you need. So now I have him in my hand, and he's going to do work for me this game. So let's summon this. So I'll move it to my base. I'll still have Fox, so I will do that actually. Summon our Laurel Treewalker. Summon Yixel. I'll move my Treewalker to the base. Once again, we'll see how powerful his ability is. Switching that to active lets me play another Treewalker. And levels up my Yixel, so now damage that he does to my life will be reduced by 1. Along with his Minotaur Force, it's going to be really hard for my opponent to deal any damage to me. Alright, so they summoned their Marissa. But like I said, you have to deal damage in order to get her effect to go off. So with my Minotaur Force and the Treewalker here, it's going to be really hard for that to happen. Okay. Now it's telling me to move the Treewalker to the base, which kind of stinks because I want to take advantage of the ability. But it's okay. So I'll move that to the base, and now I can summon my Twin Horn Treewalker the Impaler. Boom. That's going to be really hard for my opponent to deal with. Also, my Yixel is level 3 now, which gives him Pierce. So if I wanted, I could take out one of his forces, but it's no need. You can just pass here, and we'll be okay. Now, typically, if I had the Guardian of the Mete out, I would switch one of my. It would switch to active mode now, and I'd be able to play my Arrow Wall, so that it will reduce the damage to my life even more. So he's lining up his board with minions to block, but that doesn't matter now because we have our Tentacle Tangle in hand. You simply just play that, switch all their stuff to rest mode, and then attack. Weapon of Residuary can't do anything, he can't be targeted, so. And then that's it. That's how you win with JAK. So I got a pretty good start, and my opponent took a while to get to what they needed to do. But that's just how this deck works. So, alright, I want to thank everybody for watching, and I hope that you think this deck is cheap enough for you to build and good enough to get you to a higher rank. So, if you like the video, please leave it a like. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Check out some more of my other videos. I have them here. I've got cards up there too. Make sure you check those videos out as well to expand your Zenonzard knowledge. So, thanks everyone for watching my video, and I'll see all the Zenon freaks in the next one.